Hey boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be unveiling the PlayStation Platinum wireless headset. So it's been on pre-order for quite a while and it just arrived today. So today we're going to unbox it and take a look at its features and the overall box and everything the box has to say. So I'll go through this really slowly and won't be that long, but you get an idea of every detail on the box, front and back. All your basics, everything so far is pretty much the same as a Sony Gold wireless headset. There's not much of a difference except button locations and design, but overall I don't feel there's much of a difference. However, looking at the headset, all the controls are in the back of the headset. There are no controls in the front. So no controls forward facing. They're behind your, facing back towards the back of your head. As opposed to the Gold, you have a couple of controls that are in the front. So as you can see right away, the Sony Gold Wireless, the Platinum, is overall in design and shape, or I should say shape, style, is very much so the same as the Gold. This is more like the updated Gold version. However, I don't really feel that there's been that much of an upgrade enough to warrant its price tag. So right now it's on Amazon for $159.99, and after tax it'll come to just about $170. At $170 price point, I think it's just not worth it. I think at this point you could actually get a set of Astro TRs with a mix amp for close to $200. If not even cheaper, used on Amazon or eBay. So for these headsets, the number one downfall for me was that they still fold. So they left the hinges in, and I feel that that's an absolute deal breaker. The previous Gold headsets that I still own today are pretty much all taped up with packing tape and epoxy because they both sides broke at the hinges, as well as just above the hinges on the actual plastic body itself. However, with this headset, the metal band is not obviously going to break, but over time it will probably get stretchier and looser. But there we have a nice view of the actual hinge, which is just plastic on plastic with a metal pin in the middle of it. And I think that's part of the design that should have been left out. So we also have removable air cups, just like the Astros and some other higher end headsets. A lot of higher end gaming headsets. The padding is firm. It's a foam, not much different from the Gold, but it's pretty much the same. I would say they redesigned the entire band again, except for the hinges. The top piece here is more of a rubbery vinyl, like a PVC. It's in the rubber family, rubber vinyl family. But there is no real discomfort on your head. So once again, all the controls are in the back. You still have your 3.5mm jack in the same location, your charging ports in the same location, and of course your dongle for wireless use, which is a little bit bigger than the regular Sony Gold. Alright, so let's move on now and get this box out of here and check out our accessories. So in the box, first thing we have is our micro USB cable, standard. A little on the short side. I think it's a 3-foot cable. Ideally you'd want at least a 6-foot cable if you had to use it, if your battery was to die. This cable here is actually a 3-ring, so it does allow for a microphone pass-through for like PC or your cell phone, something of that nature. The dongle, as you can see, is a little bit bigger. It's longer and wider than the original gold dongle, but it's a dongle. So let's close this box up. There's our hardware and our original Sony Gold dongle compared side by side with the Platinum dongle. As you can see, there's a much larger So before us we have the Sony Gold Platinum headset. It's a headset. As always, my little head inside of a headset. How do they feel? They feel snug. They feel like a headset, man. And honestly, I would say, you know, over the period of time that I've been using headsets and gaming and things like that, personal opinion, man, just relax. You know, wearing a headset just kind of, after a while, it really does suck. There's really no such thing, from Astros to Sony Golds. There's really no such thing as like, these are a looser fit. Not loose, like, they kind of, I don't know. They obviously have a much slimmer design, right? A little closer to the head. But these are not bad. These are really not a bad headset. These being, what, $80, maybe even 70 something now. These just have a glove kind of feel. They remind me of the Rockcats, the XTDs. They still slide up and down the same way. So they're built exactly the same way. They just added a metal band up here. They still have the hinges on them, which I personally, and they're still plastic. Yeah, there's a metal pin in there, but it's all plastic surrounding the metal pin. There is a, yeah, click, so it kind of, like, it locks into position. Let me see. Click, not a click, just a, you know, a snug kind of. Let me see what I sound like in these headsets. I sound tinny, but I know I'm not tinny, but we'll turn the bass up anyways, even though I know it's incorrect. So with the bass on my mixer all the way up, I can feel the thunder of the bus that's outside. But I sound very tinny and echoey. I definitely sound tinny and echoey. Or maybe it's because I'm hearing myself in the microphone. So that sounds a little bit better if I talk closer to the mic. All right, let's bring the mic up. So talking in these with the bass all the way up, bass flat, bass just turned up about 1 o'clock. All right. So this is how I sound. This is how I sound. So we're going to unplug these. We're going to put these in. Just doing a basic, what's the difference? Actually, I got to say, I don't know, man. Save your money. But let's see. I'm going to, well, first of all, we got to fire this guy up. And then I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to play something. I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to play something. I'll be right back. If you're a music buff, you're not going to be able, and like you like it loud, right? So you want to turn it all the way up. And I didn't turn it all the way up. I turned it like 3/4 of the way up. You start to get some distortion and crackling or whatever. So you do have to turn the volume halfway down to, like, you know, a little past, like lower than halfway. Otherwise it'll be crackling. Same with this. These can handle like a little bit more, like say 10% more bass and noise and rattle. Let's get those out of here, because that's what this review is not about. So those can handle a little bit more bass, a little bit more rattle, treble, highs and lows. These can handle a little bit more. But honestly, for double the cost, it's definitely not worth it from a music standpoint. Okay? So I'm going to do one more test. I'll bring you guys in on... Turn the mic down so there's no background noise.
At 0427, a squad car got a call. A sedan speeding near Old Downtown. Officers reported shots fired.
What I can say is they're crispy, they're clean, they're clear. However, you really can't if you want to watch this trailer loud. Some gunshots, some explosions will crackle, just like the wireless. Just like, I mean, again, this is a gaming headset, and I'm probably going on way too long. So I left out a couple pieces, which would be the contents of the box. 3D stereo, 3D. No, actually takes away from the sound. Nope. 3D actually alters the actual sound. You missed. So we're gonna plug these into the Elgato chat cable. And then we're gonna plug that directly in. And then you guys should be able to hear what I hear. The 3D audio doesn't work, obviously, if it's not plugged in. But as of right now, Alright, so they fit. I don't know. They're cool. They're comfortable. They're snug. More in depth. No. I don't know who you were hitting. I went in gung ho. Nah. No difference. Ah, no, he got back up from the dead. So, honestly, I don't really know. Let's try setting 1 with the 3D. Horrible sound. It's no, I know they dropped the ball on that one. 3D no good. My conclusion of this headset is it's not worth the money. We're gonna cut that at that, and here's how I feel. They have a nice snug fit. I like the fact that there's a metal band up here instead of all plastic. But the fact that there's still plastic hinges, and they are plastic, it's no good, man. No good. Because that's still gonna break. So every time, you know what I mean? The wear and tear. Up here is like a soft rubber, vinyl. I don't know what you call this. This is like a vinyl PVC. It's in the vinyl PVC rubber family. The rest of it, plastic, hard plastic, plastic. The ear cups are removable, so you can replace them. If they make fabric ear cuffs, that would be like a plus. You know, if they did it like the Astros. But they are trash because when you put the 3D sound on, it goes completely tinny. Like, it just has a very hollow sound. So the sound goes from in your head stereo sound, like you got earbuds on, right? Just in there. It's like a full sound, and then you switch it to 3D, and then the sound backs up away from you, and it gets really hollow and distant, and it becomes like you're in a hall. It sounds like this almost, a little bit. Something in this family right here. And it just doesn't, it sounds like shit. It doesn't sound good. It's not my personal opinion like, oh, that's not a good sound or a bad sound. It's bad sound. It's a human being telling you that the sound is just not good. Anyways, people, that's been my review of the Sony Platinum wireless headset. And for the money, I don't think it's worth it. When they become cheaper, if they become cheaper, they would be a good replacement or upgrade from the Sony Gold. However, the sound quality difference between the Sony Gold and the Platinum, there is none. The only difference is you can turn the volume up louder on the Platinums, and the point where the bass and everything starts to distort has a higher threshold than the Sony Gold. So say volume 1 through 10, right? Turn the Sony Golds to 6, they're gonna crackle, and you can turn the Sony Platinums to 8 before it crackles. Like, that's really all I'm getting. The fit is technically the same. I don't know why I keep throwing these all the way back there. Overall, the fit, I mean, again, these are broken down, worn in, but these are lighter. They just kind of sit gently on your head. They're not... Alright, so my overall opinion and final review on the Sony Platinum wireless headset is they're not worth it. They're not worth the money if you already have the gold. They're not worth the money to upgrade. And as far as sound quality between the two is definitely not that much of a difference to be worth even $20 more. I'm not smashing on the headset. It's a little bit more snug. Again, they're brand new. The other one's broke. These have a metal band. I feel that the plastic hinges are going to be a breaking point. At some point or another, they're still going to break. It's still plastic and plastic around the metal pin. And that's the same thing as the golds. It's plastic and plastic around a metal pin. So my personal opinion is they're just not worth it. There's nothing great or new. The 3D effect is horrible. I don't know if that's just applying to that one game I'm playing, but that's all that really matters if you think about it. If I play The Division 99.9% of the time and the 3D effect makes the Division sound horrible, then the headset's not worth it, right? So it can't be, exclusive to particular games, right? It wouldn't make any sense. I'm sure if I was watching a movie, it wouldn't make any difference. I don't think it's... I really don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know what happened. I don't know. My opinion is they're not worth the upgrade. They're a new headset. They're $159, $170 total between taxes and whatnot. And I just don't think they're worth it. That's it. Save your money. If you have the gold, stick with the gold. If you want them because you like them, because you like the metal, you want the upgrade, fine. I get it. I'm the same way. I'm techie and I like new stuff and I'm a gadget person. But my opinion on spending $170 for these, $159 plus taxes and whatnot, is not worth the money. It just isn't worth the money, because if you think about it, you can get a whole Astro TR, like an Astro 840 TR setup now on sale for $199. So with a mix amp and the whole 9 yards, it just wouldn't make any sense to spend $170 on these when you can get a set of Astro A40s like used or even on sale at almost the same cost. It wouldn't make any sense. Or even upgrade to, you know, spend a little bit more money for like a Turtle Beach 800 series. That's it. That's all I gotta say. I'm out. Peace. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit that like button. As always, I appreciate you all. Peace.